It feels like just yesterday I was exhausted from comparison and burnt out from trying to keep up on social media. My mental health was at an all-time low, and I felt somewhat of a paralysis when it came to creating new content. How could I compare with all the amazing creators and companies that I scrolled through each day? Their work and clients seemed to be so much better than mine. I knew that I needed to unplug and reset, but there was one limiting thought that loomed in my mind. I own a business, and this is my livelihood. If I don't post online, I won't make it. It was at this point that I came to a fork in the road. Would I prioritize my mental and emotional health, or would I continue to submit to the endless algorithms and tech companies that controlled my future? I did in this moment decide to delete my personal accounts. While this was freeing and I learned many things from the experience, I quickly turned most of my energy and attention toward my business accounts. At this time in life, I was making good money, attracting new clients, and feeling good about my overall business. The other side of the coin was that I felt that I didn't have any control. If I didn't do everything perfectly, I could lose it at any moment. I also felt afraid that I was growing stagnant creatively. I'd been doing the same thing for a while, and I didn't know how or when it was time to change things up. All these thoughts flooded my mind, and social media cluttered any bit of clarity that I had. I wasn't contemplating deleting all my business accounts. I was, however, afraid to log off, take a break, and prioritize myself. I was also afraid to make any changes when it came to my online presence and posting workflow. I was at the mercy of something that, if I was honest, I had no control over. It was in this season of life that I decided to record my experiences. After posting to YouTube, I was shocked at how many people quickly responded to my story. My pain and vulnerability connected with people who were feeling the same things. It's kind of funny that in the moment I cared the least about social media, I got a viral video. Once over 1 million people connected with my life without social media, I realized this was a topic that many people were struggling with. As we continued to look through my YouTube comments over time, we started to see people who really wanted to pull back from social media. They wanted to prioritize their health, but they also felt anxious around their business or responsibilities. Many were concerned about their livelihood and survival of the ventures they were currently in. This kind of sparked me to go down the road of saying, how does a person engage on social media while still being willing to prioritize their health and growth as a person and an organization? If we focus too much of our daily attention and energy on social media, we may grow a following, but we may not grow in all the ways that matter most. For an example, as a photographer, I found myself at shoots trying to create content for Instagram stories. It's sad to say, but I was more focused on the stories than I was on my actual shooting. I was trying to promote my job, and that was keeping me from being in the moment as I should have been. I wanted people who followed me to see what I was doing instead of the client who paid me to be there. The shift for me came when I realized all the areas I was personally struggling due to social media. As a business owner, my personal life and business world can often intertwine more than I'd like. Not only was I struggling with mental health due to social media usage, I was realizing the places where my business started to suffer as well. Number one, I was really dealing with comparison. When I looked at everyone else, how good they were doing, how great their life seemed to be, I compared it to my life, and that really crippled me. Number two is I had the FOMO. I had a fear of missing out. When I saw what everyone else was doing, it created this unhealthy drive and push inside of me to really try to push me somewhere that I could actually never get to. I had a fear of missing out and this constant feeling that I was never going to make it. And number three, the more I looked at other people, the less original I felt. I had no originality. I started to mimic and copy what everyone else was doing instead of doing what we were just talking about, to pause and figure out who you really are. I might step on your toes a bit here. The excuse for most of us for having social media is that we need it for business. But let's be honest, if you took a written log for the next 24 hours, how much of your social media use would purely be for business? Would you post your daily post, log off, and get back to work? Let's be honest, for me too. The reality is that most of us would post, scroll a bit, close it out, open it back up, check the likes, read the comments, and start again. Statistics show that every time we get distracted, it takes a long time to get back to what we were doing. The more time we spend on our devices, it becomes harder and harder to create a healthy balance. If I were the great Oz of the social media world, I'd want to implement a scarcity and survival mindset among leaders as well. After all, it's good for business. If you think you can't survive without something, you're definitely going to use it. Although this course isn't about getting rid of social media, you could in some cases actually survive without it.